So today we're going to be talking about circles. And when we're talking about circles, we name our circle by its center. So the center is going to be A here. So we're going to have circle A. And when we're talking about circle A, we kind of can have three lines that we can describe within our circle. We have a radius, we have a chord, and a diameter. We're going to break down each one of those terms. For example, a radius is a line segment where both endpoints are on the center as well as on the circle. So, for example, one of our radius is going to be the line from A to F. Additionally, we can also have a chord where both endpoints are on the circle. That could be something like DG. So DG is a chord, right? Look at that up here. We're looking for line DG, and we see that that is a chord. It's not like a guitar chord, but we call a chord where it's a line segment where both endpoints, see how G and D are on the circle. Additionally, some people may think that C and D is a chord, but see how the lines continue on, how they have arrows at the end? Well, that's because that means that is not a line segment. That is a line. A line goes on continuously forever. We need for it to be a line segment. Additionally, let's look at HA. HA we see has a point that's on the outside and on the center. So we're going to call this a radius. Now we have our final one, which is a diameter. A diameter is a chord that goes through the center of the circle. So we have to look at, is there a line that goes through the center of the circle? And we see that one line does, and it's our line from H to F. Look at right here. We have our line segment HF. And we see that that is a diameter. But a diameter is just a chord. It's a special type of chord. It's a chord that goes through the center. So if something is a diameter, then it also has to be a chord. Hopefully this clears up a little bit. What you guys are going to be doing next is you guys are going to have a circle that's going to have a 30 centimeter long side. And you're going to have to figure out different values. We're going to go over that in just 1 second. So, like we said before, we have a segment of R to O, which we see is 30 centimeters long. So between R to O is 30 centimeters. And we know that R to O is what kind of line? Well, it's a radius. Because it goes from the outside of the circle to the center, or from the center to the outside of the circle. So, if that's the case, let's look at AO then. If A to O is also radius because it goes from the circle to the center, then we know that it measures also out to 30 centimeters. All radii have to be the same length because it's from the distance to the center to the outside of the circle. If the center never changes, it's always going to be that center piece. So, since the center never changes and that a circle is created by a set of different radii, we know that all the radii are going to be 30 centimeters. Now let's look at A to B. We see that A to B is a diameter. And a diameter measures out to 60 centimeters here. Why 60 though? Well, a diameter is double the radius. So we see that we have 30 centimeters on our left side. That means that our other side also has to be 30 centimeters. When we put that together, we get 60 centimeters. So when we're coming over here, we're seeing that the radius is equal to half of the diameter, while the diameter is double the radius. Finally, we have BO. So if we have BO, we've already found it, right? BO is a radius that measures out to be 30 centimeters. So what I want you guys to grab from this is to see that The radii, all radii are exactly the same. They have to be exactly the same measurement. And that the diameter is double the radius. Alright, so finishing up between radius, chord, and diameter, we have our last question. Is a diameter a chord? Well, let's look at this circle over here. We have a diameter here, which has its endpoints of A and B. And we see that the diameter goes through the center. So when we talk about what a chord is, it has to be a line segment where both endpoints are on the circle. We see that both the endpoints of A and B are on the circle. And that the only thing that differs from a diameter to a chord is that the diameter goes through the center. So we see that our line AB goes through the center C. So we know that a diameter is a chord because the diameter is a chord that goes through the center. So it still has both of its endpoints, but it goes through the center. That's what makes a chord to a diameter different.